Before we go over all of that, I just wanted to go straight into Octane and the Don Toliver album. We've talked about Don for so long and how he's continued to like raise the bar record after record. And my main takeaway from Octane here, real quick, and we can talk about it more, obviously. And it's not a diss to Don in any way, shape, or form because I love Don. He has a very safe floor, in my opinion, where he has a great voice. He's gonna have good production. He's gonna have good beat choice. He's never gonna pick a bad beat. And I feel like he stayed in a safe pocket for Octane. And with that being said, I don't think he didn't deliver. Is it my favorite Don Toliver project ever? No, it's not. But I do think that he delivered on this track. I just feel like he stayed in a little bit of a safe pocket and didn't go for any like big pops.
So I like this a lot. I think I don't know if I like it more, or I don't know where I'm at with this one versus Hardstone Psycho quite yet, or some of his other stuff, but um I certainly did like it. I thought that, at least on paper, I liked the list of features. I thought that um I thought that I would like those songs a little bit more than what I did. Like, the songs with the features aren't even my favorite ones on this album. The features were Yeet, Rema, Travis, and Tizo Touchdown. Like,
And
I love
Sam,
Travis and Sampha. Obviously, we love Travis. I really like Tizo. I think he does a good job in features, and then Yeet and whatnot. I'm a Yeet fan, but um, those weren't even my favorite songs off this album. I would have I think that the rest of the album without the features is actually much better than majority of those songs. But all in all, I thought it was a really good project. I just don't know where I stand at quite yet as far as it in like the hierarchy of his albums.
yeah, I felt like Don makes like that vibey, you hop in the car late night type, like drive at late night type vibe music for me. Felt like it was extremely strong production.
Yeah,
And it just felt like it was like dark ish and just
it was.
it sounded super clean throughout. I thought the features were extremely strong across the entire board. I don't think anybody missed. I think Yeet did great. I think the Yeet song's great. I think Rima did great. That the Rima and Sampha track with Don, I think they both killed it. I think the Travis feature, he killed it. I love to hear Tizo on this because I feel like I just haven't heard much
Yeah,
of him over the last like year. And as soon as he came on, I was like, oh, like miss Tizo, miss hearing
yeah, he's
Tizo
cool.
rap. And I think he delivered, or not even rap, but whatever he does. And I feel like he delivered as well. And then um I think Saw Baby underratedly had the best feature on this entire album. And that might be a hot take, but when I first heard it, I thought it was Young Thug. I will say that. I thought it was Young
I
Thug, but as it went on, I realized that it wasn't. And then I went to the lyrics to see who it was. And I saw that it was Saw Baby. And that's somebody who I didn't know about at all until Jack Boys 2. I felt like he did really well. I know everybody like hates Jack Boys 2. I liked his song on Jack Boys 2. And then on this one too, that was the feature that stood out to me the most across the entire track list.
Saw Baby has like the low key cult following. Like, they're dedicated to Saw Baby, like how people are dedicated to Cardi, but not nearly at like the Cardi capacity as far as like numbers. But like,
Not
people
yet.
that like Saw Baby fucking love Saw Baby.
Yeah, I listen, I don't know that much about him, but on I haven't listened to any of his music. On Jack Boys 2 and on this Don Toliver record, I like both of his performances on it like a ton.
Yeah, I liked it better on Jack Boys too, but I do think he did a good job on here. And I want to clarify, just I think the features were great. Like, I liked the list, and I think that they all did well on the songs. Those just weren't my personal favorites from this album. And I think that that might just be like how I prefer my Don Toliver listening experience is just him doing his thing. I feel like I like more Don Toliver songs when it's just him um, rapping, singing, whatever he's doing. I don't
That's
know why, and
interesting. There's a
I'm not. Yeah, I don't know exactly like what my reasoning behind that is, but I feel like I've always like worked my way towards the songs that are just him.
Yeah, I disagree. I think him and Travis probably have some of the most classic features together pretty much every single time they linked up. I think Rosary is incredible on this album as well. And the reason I was going to say this to the end, but since you brought it up, I feel like it's only a matter of time. I feel like that it should be top priority after Travis drops his solo album to go. I don't know where. Let's just go to fucking Italy,
To
go
link up,
somewhere with all the boys. And Don said this a little bit. He was like,
yeah.
"Would you ever do a collab album with Travis?" And he was like, and it got memed everywhere. But he was like, "Travis is an interesting cat. Like, if we could ever link up, we can like do something special." Um, I think it should be top priority. Don dropped his solo, Travis drops his solo next, and then get the boys in a studio and just have Travis and Don go back and forth on a full collab album, similar to how he did with Quavo with Honcho Jack Honcho, and just feed the fans. I think one, what do you think about Travis and Don's chemistry on tracks together, and is this something that you would want to hear?
Yeah, I think they have great chemistry together. I don't think that Travis would have brought in a guy to be part of his label if there wasn't the versatility aspect that he could also make music with them at some point.
Yeah.
I think he's more calculated with that than some of the other labels. I think that him and Don Toliver doing a collab album would be awesome for two reasons. One, I think they just have good chemistry, and I think they make good music, and I think that that album would be um, one of the better collab albums
Oh, it could
that
be
we've.
special.
I think that Honcho Honcho Jack is like probably second behind Watch the
That's a
Throne.
listen. One, people will if this catches the wrong pocket of the internet, they'll flame you for that. But Jack Honcho is legitimately a cult classic.
It's
There are no misses on that shit.
It's that's why I have it at 2. I think that Watch the Throne is incredible, but I really
Yeah.
I don't think the gap is like substantial between that and Jack Honcho, and then the Drake and Future album. But uh, Don Toliver and Travis Scott, an album together would be awesome. And then the other reason is I would hope that that would like spark like more artists doing joint albums again. Like we had that stretch in like 2016, 2017-ish where we got like all of the big dogs were collabing kind of on albums together, whether it be with like another big name or like somebody in this like in a similar stratosphere. Like we've got Uzi and Future, we got
Juice
obviously we
WRLD
had Drake
Future.
and Future, Juice World and
We have
Future, Metro
Young
Boomin
Thug and
and
Future.
Young Thug and Future, Metro and 21. We got Travis, or we got excuse me, Drake and 21. We got Quavo and Travis. Like I want that to kind of come back and everybody is so big on like the this is 20, like you've been seeing the shit about it's like 2016 again. Let's actually make it like 2016 and like pop off with the collab albums again.
My one fear that I have with the Travis and Don album that like everybody has kind of been like fantasy booking a little bit like as of late, and even before that, is I don't want it to get to a point where it feels past due. And I feel like right
Yeah.
now ish, like I feel like right now ish, and I mean that with like saying like allowing them to curate it, and it might take like a few years, like 2 years or so. Like I think now would be the time to like make that happen. I don't want it to be like
Yeah.
a Drake and the Party Next Door situation, which we've
Yeah.
talked about, where that felt 10 years overdue. Where it was like, if
Yeah.
those guys in 2015 linked up at the peak of their powers or whatever like that could have been like, who knows what that could have looked like. You know what I mean? It's like almost disgusting to think about that. And it feels like Travis is at the peak of his powers, and it feels like Don's at the peak of his powers. It's like this is like Jay and Kanye, like they were both at the peak of their powers when they linked up and did this. I'm not comparing them to
No, I know.
Jay, and I'm just saying like like where they're at currently in their careers, like Apex Mountain. I
Yeah.
think you have to make that happen as a priority for the fans and each other's discographies, because I think it would just elevate both of them to a completely different level.
Yeah, back in 2016 I just want to go back to that Drake thing real quick with Party Next Door. I'm just looking at it like that Party Next Door 3 came out in 2016. That was like when Party Next Door was
Party Next Door
on like the upward trajectory, like about to be like peak party. And
yeah.
he even had like Drake on the album, and they didn't ever take advantage of it until 9 years later. And that's I agree with you. I don't want to see it get to the point where we're fucking about to be 40 years old and we're getting a Don Toliver Travis Scott album.
That would sting. That would be a tough pill to swallow.
That would be brutal to deal with.
To switch back into Octane, but that was a great point to have, is like I wanted to just go into my complaints on this album a little bit more. One, I didn't feel as if this was like a fully cohesive project because each track just felt so different from the next. And I don't have that big of an issue with it. It is what it is. And the Sweet Home at the end of the project, I felt like I didn't love how it ended at all. And I hated that he played with like those Kid Rock lyrics. It just didn't hit for me. I guess it was like a little awkward, I would probably say, for me, like listening to it. Even I've listened to it a few times since, and just it's not a bad song towards like the middle and end, but just that beginning and him using that lyrics as it felt weird.
So when I got to that point of the album, and I was like, I was so thrown off because that's not at all what I was expecting. When I got to Sweet Home, I was like, oh, I wonder what this is going to be. And then I start hearing the Sweet Home, Houston, Texas all summer long. And I'm like, what the heck did I just hear a Kid Rock? Did I just hear Kid Rock here? Like I like the song, but it was so far like out of left field to hear that as a song that he sampled on this album. And now that gets me back to like the beginning of the album when he sampled Body by Justin Timberlake. That fits, right? Like I think that fits really well. It was amazing. I think that's probably my favorite song on the album. That fits like he turned it into like a club fucking rager. Like that's gonna be that's the one that you play in the car, or like you play in the Uber, you play it wherever, and it's going.
That song's gonna summer 26. That shit's gonna be buzzing. The lamest. I sent a video to you and Brady. The lamest reaction of all time was the NFR podcast listening to that Body song, and they literally sat there and no sold it and was just like, "Yeah, this is terrible."
Those guys suck.
I was like, "What?" I was like, "That." As soon as I heard that shit in my headphones, I was just like, it was just a great vibe, a crazy sample. Travis produced that, I believe, and the first song on the album as well, E85. And it was just, I just felt like, one, E85 is good, but that Body song was like the banger, honestly, like on this album. Another, I'm sitting here and I'm saying like, I felt like Don like played it safe and stuff like that. But you listen to a song like Body, and it's like if you listen to a song like Tiramisu, which is like the smash hit
Yeah,
off
the
this
TikTok
album.
banger.
And then you have like a song like I think that that second hand song is like almost like underrated. You have those like tracks on this album that do feel grandiose, and maybe I'm just under like I haven't had enough time to sit with this project yet, and even though I've been listening to it a ton, but the second hand with Rima and Sampha to open it up, and I just felt like it was like perfectly constructed, and then to go on the way that the album plays, and then to go right into Tiramisu, it's like,
Yeah.
well, both of those songs are like objectively like amazing. So
Yeah.
it's like I'm sitting here and I'm critiquing the album, but at the same time, when I sit here and think about it and listen, and when I listen to it, and I do really like it. I don't think that I like it as much as Hardstone Psycho. Don't know why. Maybe I liked more of like the edgier feel to like Hardstone Psycho, and like him like maybe like more turn up music, I'd say. But I don't know. What are you thinking on that?
I think that okay, well, I have a unrelated thought, kind of. Well, related but unrelated. So I was looking at the producers on Body, for example, and you are correct. Travis is one of the producers. Benny X is another one, and
Mhm.
he's one of my favorite producers. He's always his producer tag is so sick, and I feel like every time he is producing a song, like it's going to be one of my favorites on whatever album it's on. But there was moments when I was listening to this album, and it's probably because of the Travis Scott influence and the Travis Scott production. But like, I had like Yeezus flashbacks at certain points. I felt like I
Okay.
was listening to something that would have been like Body. You could have that could be turned into a Kanye West song, and you could have put that on Yeezus, and it wouldn't. I wouldn't even think twice about it. Like that song to me is like high level shit. Being able to pull
Yeah.
that sample out and have it be executed at the level that they executed it at is almost it's crazy, and I think that
People
it
disagree
contradicts
with you on this.
that well, which is insane, but that kind of goes up against with like your thought of he played it safe, because I think picking
Yeah.
that song and spinning that sample into
It's
something like
crazy.
that, hopefully like that does the numbers that I think it will, because that is a fucking banger.
And like I said, I'm sitting here and maybe I was trying to be critical of it, and maybe I'm wrong. My only complaint as of now, like, is that Sweet Home song at the end, probably pretty much. It's just like
Fair.
the lyrics threw me off. And
It
that's probably the best way to put it too. It just threw me off hearing it when I first heard it. Maybe it'll
the
grow on
lyric
me.
the lyrics threw me off at first too, because like I said, I wasn't expecting that by any means. And I think that's another song too that's like that to me feels like him stepping outside of the comfort zone, because is anybody going to expect Don Toliver to sample a Kid Rock song in today's economy?
No, probably not.
Probably
Or
not.
what's that even called? Like, is he like, is that even a sample? Like, what's it called? Like, just like using lyrics like that.
Like a reference track.
Okay. I
Like how
guess. I don't even know.
Drake with Chicago Freestyle referenced that Eminem song.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's fair. But that felt better. That
Yeah.
felt way better. Like
Yeah.
that song is
Yeah.
nasty, and like
Yeah.
that was like a flawless execution by Drake. I felt like this may have been a little, I don't know, just
Right.
like
But
wonky
that is
and different.
okay when
Yeah.
I think that is Don Toliver stepping out of his comfort zone.
Hey, you just talked me out of it. I am with you on that. My other question to you is like what, so some of my favorites on this immediately. I heard Opposite the snippet and immediately coined it as like my favorite song. Like almost
Right.
immediately. I heard the snippet and was like, that beat's disgusting. I just like it. And then I listened to it on the album and it's my favorite song by far. TMU, we've talked about that song a few times, really like
Mhm.
it. Brady likes as well. I like Rosary, Big Shock, the Travis Scott feature. I just thought it was
Yep.
great. And then I like K9 too. We talked about that a little bit with
Mhm.
the Saw Baby feature as well. What are some of your favorites off this album?
I like E85 and Body. Body's my favorite. If you guys couldn't tell,
Yeah.
but I liked E85. E85 Body. I liked Rosary. That was probably my favorite feature. Was Travis's. Um, Excavator. I when I got to like the very bottom of the album and that came on, and I had my headphones in at the gym and I'm listening to that. I'm like, oh, like that was the one where that's a song to me where if I'm out and about and that comes on, you like stop and you start it over because it's like, oh, I
Yeah.
need to make sure that I'm fully paying attention to this one. And then I did like Sweet Home. It was just different, and I
Yeah.
wasn't expecting it, but
Yeah. It is
I
different. Maybe I'm being too ultra critical on it, and it was just maybe it just threw me off so much, like on the first listen to it, and I haven't given it like a proper shot like since like hearing it. But no, you're right. I mean, I sat here at the beginning and said he didn't take any swings, and he did take a lot of swings on this, and I felt like he hit on majority of them.
yeah, yeah. I think all in all, like this is very solid. I don't know if what is your thought process on like the number of songs? Do you think there's any songs on here that he could have gone without putting in? Like, do you think it would have been better if he cut it down to like 12 songs? Because I know that that's something that we typically talk about is like,
No, I like
do
all
you
of
think
them.
there's any filler in here? Do you think that if he really dialed it into like 12 to 14 songs that this would be a better project from start to finish? Or
I don't think so. I know some people think that like callback is like a little filler ish, like, but the first time I have a mix on SoundCloud with like a bunch of like unreleased tracks, and callback is like on there, and it's just like the snippet. So I just like the melody of that song. I know it's nothing too in depth or crazy, but I like it. I can see people probably arguing to like kick that off as like a potential filler track, but everything else, I don't know. I don't think so. I think that this like Pleasure's Mine is good. I think this whole album is pretty solid, like start to back. I don't think any song is like, I got to leave that one off.
the callback beat and like flow is nasty.
Yeah.
So
I like it.
I
He
don't,
posted that on Instagram like a few months ago, and I think I sent it to everybody once I saw it and was like, I fucking this shit sounds like good as hell. Like I can't wait for him to release this.
yeah, I feel like I remember you send me that. But yeah,
What do
I don't
you
know.
think? Do you
I
think that
think
there's anything to take off?
see, like there are songs on here that I'm just like forgetting. But I don't think it's fair for me to just straight up say, yes, this needs to be gone because I can't remember it. I feel like I I go back and forth with like the length of a project because I like having the options and I like being able to figure out like which ones are my favorites on an album. And I think when you have like 18 versus 12, I think it's very difficult to put together like a 1 through 12 album where there's nothing that has any like criticisms or anything that I think just naturally we all kind of gravitate towards certain songs over others on any album. Um, with that being said, I don't think I think there's songs on
It's
here
only
that
49 minutes long. It's
I,
only 49
it's
minutes.
not
It's not
long.
even an
It's not a
hour.
long project.
Yeah.
I do like I do get that. I think that's very fair. Um, I think there's just songs on here that I don't I wouldn't typically gravitate to, but I don't think they're bad enough for me to be like, yeah, I could do without this.
Yeah. I'm right with you. I'm right with you on that one.
I feel like
So
for
what
me, like there has to be like a definite like line in the sand of this song is bad. It needs to not be on here.
Yeah, I mean it's like the we when we talked about like the ASAP Rocky album, Don't Be Dumb, and that song, hold on, let me pull it up real quick.
Oh yeah, that one. Yes, I know which one you're talking about.
It's called Shut the Fuck Up with STFU with Slay Squad. And it was like that's the worst song I've ever heard in my entire life. Like I never
Yeah,
want to hear it ever again. Like that could just be cut off the album and I'll never think of it ever again.
Exactly.
Like
That
that
there's
simple.
nothing even close to that on this.
Yeah.
I
So where
don't even think that I don't think that Don Toliver is even capable of doing that. I don't think that like Travis is capable of doing that. I just think that there's guys that, and maybe it's just because Rocky has been like out of touch, kind of is what it seems like. Because I feel like old Rocky would have looked at that and been like, why in the hell did I put that out and put my name on it?
Yeah, I think something that like Don is good at is like his story is like growing up in the club scene, making strip club type music, like
Yeah.
in Houston, like spinning his records at the strip club. And I feel like he just is always gonna have that like, you know what I mean? Like that feel to him where he's able to
Yeah.
make music that is like it could get played in a club and you'll sit there and like not think twice about it and you can be able to vibe to it. But yeah,
Yes.
I
I
think
agree
that
with that.
this is great. I love it sounds like he's doing great. It sounds like he really likes his girl. It sounds like he's gonna probably have another kid because he
Yeah.
talks about banging her and the whole time. And but like it's great. Like I do like the content of this entire album, and I'm happy to get a Don Toliver album. I'm happy that we got Jack Boys too. I'm happy that we're getting Don Toliver, and I'm happy that we're gonna get Travis next because it is just like it's a beautiful way to like end 2025, start 2026 with just like this whole new era of like a collective of music that I really like. And lastly, I'm just gonna say that like this album automatically, like there's 8 songs that have just entered my rotation on like a day-to-day basis. So shout out to Don Toliver for just making a great project.
That's right. And I'm looking at just like the first week album sales. He's projected, this was February 3rd, this tweet by Rap TV. 135,000 projected for Octane, number one debut.
Yeah, and
You
that's
good?
his first number one album. That's the most he's ever sold in the first week. So Don Toliver continuing to level up every single time he drops a project. Where are you at with this project? Is this something that's going to be in your rotation for a long period of time? Are you still rocking with it? I think the body
Yeah.
record, you're completely right. I think when summer comes around, I think this might even be hotter. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
just don't
I
know.
uh I will I will have it in rotation. I've added some of these songs to like the rap playlist that I typically will throw on shuffle and when I'm at the gym or whatever. But um yeah, I'm gonna keep this in rotation. Usually ends up happening is like I'll go like a long period of time and make like a massive playlist, and then I'll get to a point where I'm like, there's too much on here, and I don't listen to some of the songs anymore. So I just make a new one and almost start from scratch. And what ends up happening is like the old reliables will carry their way to the new playlist. Um, and I think that there's going to be a couple old reliables from this album into whenever I create that next playlist in a year.
I just spit it. Good girl, we're getting paper as a passion. Collect the stacks and bring it back, man, and take